Amen. I was there in the millisecond of the beginning. I was there the moment before he gasped at the wonder of what he had done. I was there in the blink when nothingness became possibility. There was void, only void, and then there was the explosion. In that eruption that shook and ripped and terrorized the void came motes and atoms and particles, and too quickly to notice, too quickly to separate out came vapor and gases and attraction and cohesion, and then in that nanosecond there was matter. And I was there, and I saw it all. I was the first star, or at least one of the first, in all that chaos and all that disruption and all that stupefying power. Who can say for sure? I came to be early in the process, and was set high in the heavens on my near eternal course. I am old, ancient, aged beyond recorded history, older even than memory. I have made orbits too numerous to count. I have lit the night skies through millennium. From my vantage point, I have seen everything. I saw the birth of the sun and the division of night into day. I saw the gathering and spread of the great waters. I saw the coalescence and the rising up of land masses. More amazing still, I saw the first fleck of the first cell. I saw it pulse in its medium. I saw the first cell. I saw it split and split again, and so from across time and space, I saw life begin. I saw the paramecium. I saw the lichen and the plankton, and then the root and stem and leaf and bud. I saw the egg. I saw the newt and the gnat, the coral and the bee, the ant and the flea. From my distant but constant perch, I saw the progression of more and more complex organisms. With fascination, I watched as the humanoid raised its head from the ground to the plain, from the plain to the horizon. I watched as its spine lengthened and straightened. I watched it distance itself from the pack and establish a more discrete identity. I watched with wonder as it developed consciousness and conscience. I was spellbound when it raised its eyes from the horizon to the heavens and looked for God. No other creature had that drive or desire. Almost breathless, the cosmos waited. What answer would return? I am. I am. I am that which no other matter, thought, action can be greater. I am the first, the last, the always, the never beginning, the never ending. I am the originator of all that is, ever was, will ever be. I am. I can orchestrate and control everything. Nothing is beyond my influence. Then there was a pause. Because I can, I do, I give you choice. Human, you decide. You decide who, what will I be to you. Not as dramatic as the first explosion, but palatable through the ether. Creation gave a collective gasp. What had he done? We watched and waited. I saw the human species grapple with its conscience. I saw it battle its two natures, one focused on God and one firmly rooted in self. I saw it steal food from its kinsman and carry off another's mate. I saw it plot and cheat a brother to secure a better place for its own offspring. I saw it greedy and bloodthirsty, jealous and unforgiving. I saw the human give into fear and suspicion, and I watched him never waver. It was beyond my comprehension. How could he not remove the choice? How could he not compel the human to his will? He did not waver, nor did he abandon the feckless creature. Over the long course of time, as the human became less primitive and more intellectually facile, as the human's moral compass stretched, even to an infinitesimal degree, he would make himself known. When their minds could grasp the concept, he came to the humans and offered a covenant. You be my people. You put your other so-called gods away and live in faithfulness with me. You be my people, and I will be your God. Together, we will establish a fruitful, trustworthy relationship with one another. You will honor me, and I will protect and prosper good for you. We will live in close unity with one another. Later, when the human became less primitive and more intellectually facile, when its moral compass stretched even to an infinitesimal degree, he made himself known again. When their minds could grasp the concept, he sent them great prophets, men of wisdom and oratory skill, to lead them to higher level thinking, broader perspective, and strategies for long-term self-interest. Return to your God, the prophet said. Return to your prayers. Return to quiet discernment. In relationship with your God, you will hear his voice, and he will direct you to the better way. He will deliver you from your exile and bondage. He will prosper good for you. Return to your God. And then, when the human once again became less primitive and more intellectually facile, when its moral compass stretched even further to an infinitesimal degree, he did the unthinkable, the original. Suspended in my place, through the rotations of the earth and through the passing of ages, I've seen gods of all people. Each one of them has a story. Each one of them has an experience of their God coming to earth. But all others avoided the scandal of particularity. He, the infinite God, the great I Am, came into the finite world in the form of a particular, finite human child in a particular time, in a particular place. He deigned to come into the most vulnerable form to answer the great human need. He came as Emmanuel, God with us, so that humans could never again say, God does not understand us. He came to align with humans in their weakness and in their doubts, to stand with them in their inability to choose wisely for themselves, to struggle with them in their tendency to live out of fear of scarcity rather than in confidence of abundance. He came to share the full human experience. He came to give godly perspective in human terms, the godly perspective of a better way to union with God and better living with one another. Humankind was now ready. And so, he came as a human to propel the progress of his vision. He came as a human to propel the progress of his vision. Holding steady in the night sky on the holiest of holy nights, that's what I saw. The air was so thin. The other stars shone as brightly as I had ever seen. The whoosh of breeze was as light as the movement of angel wings. Simple shepherd folk, a skilled craftsman, his reflective, deceptionally strong bride, gathered in rapt attention around a normal-looking human child and wondered at his future. They thought they saw he had a particular destiny. And so he did. For 30 or so years, I watched him grow and mature. I watched him wrestle with doubts and evil in the wilderness. I watched him gather average, unspectacular men to follow him. I watched him teach an ever-growing crowd an ethic, a kindness, a way of being in the world that was unlike anything that had ever been expressed before. I watched his view catch fire in the human imagination. I watched hope burn brighter with them. I watched people taking his message to heart. I saw attitudes and behaviors change. And I saw old habits return. Progress, relapse. Progress, relapse. It is the way of humanity. Enlightenment followed by regression, elevated common life followed by warfare. Empathy here, brutality there, Only slow progress is made towards his perfect vision when human choice is a given. From up here, I see that the world sometimes despairs and wonders, did that night, did that birth make any difference at all? What wasn't recorded, what hasn't been widely reported, is that when the wise men arrived and looked on his face, they saw his great and terrible future. Yet they did not despair. They understood the long view. Eons later, another wise man wrote, Jesus was called to throw himself on the wheel of world history so that, even though it crushed him, it might start to turn in the opposite direction. This is the meaning of Christmas. This is the meaning of Christmas. The great I Am created. The great I Am gave humankind the gift and perhaps the burden of choice. The good choice takes a long time to stabilize. It comes in fits and starts. Humans continue to progress and mature and elevate. They sometimes grow impatient and despair and grouse and retrench. They do not have my advantage. They haven't been here from the beginning. They haven't seen the long-term, hard-won gains. They don't remember the times of baseline savagery. What they don't comprehend is how much slower the movement to better would have been without that night, without that remarkable, particular birth. Without his coming into the world, without God with us, without his lessons of peace and compassion and prayerfulness, where would humankind be? For believers and non-believers, his influence is unparalleled. I see it all. I've seen it all. Jesus, babe in a manger, Jesus, man teaching at the sea, Jesus, prophet giving the love commandment, Jesus, Savior dying on the cross, Jesus made and Jesus continues to make the human experience better. Those who are evolved enough, wise enough to grasp his import live a better life. They are among the humans who advance the species and make their world a more and more hospitable place, more and more aligned with the dream of the Holy One. I see it all. From this place, hung over time and space, over chaos and disruption, over progress and regression, I see the believers, the prayers, the Christmas keepers, and the world is blessed by their faithfulness. And the world is blessed by their stumbling, humbling attempts for the better choices. He smiles this night on them. He smiles this night on them. May they be comforted and encouraged.